Asterisco asterisco intro asterisco asterisco. Life is inherently unpredictable, and we can never know for certain what may cause the end of humanity. 2024 has already seen a string of catastrophic natural disasters with far-reaching consequences. In April, heavy rainfall brought widespread disruption to the Gulf region, forcing schools to close, roads to collapse, and transportation services to be suspended in Dubai, Oman, Bahrain, and Qatar. The impact was particularly severe in France, where Cyclone Belal caused over $108.3 million in damages. In southern China, Tanzania, and several East African countries, deadly floods have claimed hundreds of lives and caused hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. In North America, wildfires have been raging across California, burning over 8,000 hectares of land and affecting the homes of nearly 1,200 people. Texas has also been ravaged by its largest wildfires in history. But the worst may be yet to come. Experts warn that the second half of 2024 could bring even more catastrophic events, threatening the very fabric of our existence. Join us today as we dive into the most anticipated natural disasters that could strike in the coming months and the science behind them. You might think of natural disasters as sensationalized clickbait that gets you to watch videos, but the reality is far more devastating. As our team at Insane Curiosity worked on this video, India was hit by one of the most catastrophic natural disasters of the year. And here's how that went down. On July 30th, 2024, a series of landslides struck the Wayanad district in Kerala, India, with devastating consequences. The early morning hours brought heavy rains that triggered the collapse of hillsides, unleashing torrents of mud, water, and boulders onto the villages of Punjri Madam, Mundakai, Koralmala, Adamala, Mapadi, and Kunhome. The tragedy resulted in at least 359 reported deaths, over 273 injuries, and 206 people still missing, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters in Kerala's history. This disaster is just one of many extreme weather events that have ravaged India in recent years, serving as a stark reminder of the destructive power of nature. Now, let's look at the most predicted natural disasters in the coming months. Number 10. Solar flares. So far, 2024 has been a year of deadly flooding disasters. However, the threats go beyond just floods. One major concern has been the increased activity of solar flares. Solar flares are intense bursts of radiation and energy from the sun. While most of the energy from a solar flare is radiated away as ultraviolet and X-ray light, the intense heat can also cause enormous clouds of charged particles, known as coronal mass ejections, CMEs, to blast out into space. These CMEs can have devastating impacts on our technology and infrastructure here on Earth. If a powerful CME were to hit the Earth, it could potentially black out radio and radar systems around the world. It could also overload and damage electrical grids, causing widespread and long-lasting power outages. Experts estimate that a severe geomagnetic storm from a large CME could cost the United States alone up to $41.5 billion per day in economic damages. There are also concerns that a major CME could create an internet apocalypse by overloading and damaging the undersea cables that form the backbone of the global internet. This could leave parts of the world without reliable web access for weeks or even months. Satellites and spacecraft orbiting beyond the protection of Earth's atmosphere would also be at risk from the intense radiation of these CMEs. Recently, a series of active sunspot regions unleashed multiple X-class solar flares between May 10th and 15th. Notably, the X-class designation indicates the flare's intensity, with higher numbers representing greater strength. Although the sun regularly produces these energy bursts, flares of this magnitude are extremely rare. On May 14th, NASA satellites detected an X8.7 flare, the most powerful solar flare of the 11-year solar cycle. This means the threat of a solar flare is now higher than ever. Number 9. New Madrid earthquake. The New Madrid fault line, responsible for the most powerful earthquakes in U.S. history, is stirring once again. In 1811 and 1812, this seismic hotspot unleashed a series of massive quakes that reversed the flow of the Mississippi River and sent shockwaves across the nation. Now, experts are warning that the region is on the cusp of another catastrophic event. Recent data suggests that the fault line is building up stress, signaling a ticking time bomb that could unleash a magnitude 7.5 or higher quake at any moment. The consequences would be devastating, with entire cities potentially reduced to rubble and countless lives lost or forever changed. The warning signs are unmistakable: increased seismic activity, subtle movements along the fault, and a disturbing trend of earthquakes in the New Madrid seismic zone. The United States Geological Survey has sounded the alarm, and the people of Memphis, St. Louis, and other major metropolises are urged to take immediate action. With a 25 to 40% probability of a severe earthquake striking the region by 2040, the clock is ticking. The people of the region are sitting on a powder keg, waiting for the inevitable. Will it happen in the next few months? The uncertainty is unsettling, and the region holds its breath as the earth beneath its feet prepares to unleash its fury. One thing is certain: the New Madrid fault line is a ticking time bomb, and it's only a matter of time before it strikes again. Number 8. Toba Supervolcano. Lake Toba, situated on the Indonesian island of Sumatra, is a ticking time bomb. It's the largest volcanic lake on Earth, formed 74,000 years ago after a massive eruption that was the largest in 25 million years. The eruption spewed an estimated 2,800 cubic kilometers of volcanic ash and lava into the atmosphere. Now, there are concerns that it may be on the verge of erupting again. A supereruption at Toba would have a catastrophic impact on the global climate, with massive amounts of ash and sulfur dioxide released into the atmosphere. However, several factors make a Toba eruption even more ominous than one at Yellowstone. The volcano is located on the densely populated island of Sumatra, home to over 50 million people, and is just 40 kilometers from the Indian Ocean, which would generate devastating tsunamis. Recent reports of volcanic gases and heating of the ground surface suggest that the volcano may be stirring again. If it were to erupt, the consequences would be dire. The sky would darken, temperatures would plummet, and crops would be destroyed globally. The resulting tsunamis would be catastrophic, claiming the lives of millions immediately and many more in a few years. Number 7. Deadly gamma ray bursts. Gamma ray bursts, GRBs, are among the most dangerous forms of radiation in the universe. These catastrophic events are thought to occur when two dying stars merge, unleashing powerful beams of energy that can travel through almost any obstacle, posing a significant threat to human existence. When a GRB occurs, it generates an intense surge of light, firing charged particles into space. If Earth were to be in the direct path of a GRB, the consequences would be devastating. The radiation would annihilate our atmosphere, producing nitrogen oxides that would eradicate the ozone layer. Without the ozone layer, the sun's ultraviolet rays would reach the Earth's surface unchecked, wiping out the ocean's plankton, which produces oxygen for our atmosphere. This would disrupt the entire food chain, leading to catastrophic effects such as skin cancer and other dire consequences. Unfortunately, the mechanisms behind GRB emissions are not yet fully understood, leaving us vulnerable to the unpredictable nature of these events. All we can do is hope that a powerful GRB doesn't strike our planet, bringing about an extinction-level event. Number 6. Devastating flood. The recent massive flooding in China due to water released from the Three Gorges Dam has raised concerns about the dam's operation and the potential for catastrophic flooding. The dam, which is the world's largest gravity hydroelectric dam, has been releasing large amounts of water downstream, causing widespread flooding and evacuations of hundreds of thousands of people. The Chinese authorities have been operating the dam in panic mode, releasing 60% of the inflow as discharge, which has led to devastating consequences. This recent flooding in China serves as a warning sign for the rest of the world. In recent months, we've seen devastating floods in Dubai, Oman, Bahrain, and Qatar, and in May, Indonesia joined the list. This trend suggests that the world is on the cusp of a catastrophic flooding season. As we head into the wettest months of the year, the chances of flooding increase dramatically. With the Earth's weather patterns becoming more unpredictable by the day, it's clear that we're in for a rough ride. The coming months will likely bring more devastating flooding to various parts of the world, and it's essential that we're prepared for the worst. Number 5. San Andreas Earthquake. California is on high alert as the San Andreas Fault, which spans 1,200 kilometers across the state, is building up substantial strain energy, threatening to unleash a massive earthquake. Recent seismic activity in the Parkfield region has scientists concerned that a large earthquake, possibly on the scale of the deadly 7.9 magnitude quake that demolished San Francisco in 1906, is approaching. The Parkfield section of the San Andreas Fault has a history of moderate earthquakes around magnitude 6.0 at regular intervals, with the last one occurring on September 28, 2004. Since then, the fault has been quietly accumulating energy, and scientists warn that the clock is ticking. Data from the San Andreas Fault Observatory at depth, SAFOD, suggests that the fault is once again building up substantial strain energy, similar to the periods preceding previous quakes. If this energy is released in a single large earthquake, it could spell disaster for California, potentially causing widespread destruction, loss of life, and economic ruin. Number 4. Tsunami triggered by the Cascadia Fault. The Cascadia Subduction Zone, an undersea fault line stretching from Northern California to British Columbia, poses a significant threat to the entire Pacific Northwest. This megathrust fault, where the Juan de Fuca Plate is being forced under the North American Plate, is capable of generating massive earthquakes and tsunamis. Scientists believe that the fault is long overdue for a catastrophic event, and recent studies suggest that it could unleash a magnitude 9.0 earthquake, triggering a tsunami that could devastate coastal communities. The last major earthquake on this fault occurred in 1700, and the average time between major quakes is around 300 to 350 years, making the Cascadia Subduction Zone one of the most dangerous fault lines in the world. When this fault finally releases its built-up energy, the resulting tsunami could inundate entire cities, destroying infrastructure and claiming countless lives. The time to prepare is now, as the threat of a Cascadia megaquake looms large. Number 3. Megavolcanic eruption. The recent eruption of the Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai volcano in the Pacific Ocean serves as a reminder that we are constantly under threat from volcanic eruptions. This eruption was one of the most powerful in the last 30 years, sending shockwaves around the world and producing the largest atmospheric explosion ever recorded. The blast was so powerful that it created a massive tsunami that devastated the surrounding islands and was detected by sensors all over the planet. Volcanic eruptions can have catastrophic consequences, not just for those living nearby, but for the entire world. The eruption of Mount Pinatubo in 1991 caused global temperatures to drop by 0.5 degrees Celsius for several years. A larger eruption could have even more severe consequences. Supervolcanoes like Yellowstone in the United States or Campi Flegrei in Italy could cause widespread destruction and disrupt the global climate, leading to crop failures and mass starvation. The threat of a megavolcanic eruption is real, and it is only a matter of time before one occurs. Number 2. Coronal mass ejection, CME. A CME is a massive burst of solar wind and magnetic fields rising above the solar corona or being released into space. A CME can disrupt the Earth's magnetic field, causing widespread power outages, communication failures, and damage to satellites and spacecraft. The most famous CME event in history is the Carrington Event of 1859, which caused widespread disruption to telegraph systems and auroras as far south as the Caribbean. If a similar event were to happen today, the consequences would be far more severe. Our reliance on technology has only increased since the 19th century, and a CME of the same magnitude could cause trillions of dollars in damages and potentially plunge the world into darkness. The threat of a CME is real, and it is only a matter of time before one strikes. Number 1. Massive wildfires. The wildfire season of 2024 has already been one of the most destructive on record. Wildfires have raged across California, destroying homes and displacing thousands of people. The largest wildfire in the state's history, the August Complex Fire, has burned over 8,000 hectares of land and is still only 55% contained. The situation is similarly dire in Texas, where the largest wildfire in the state's history has burned over 1,200 homes and is only 60% contained. The 2024 wildfire season is far from over, and experts warn that the worst may be yet to come. With climate change causing hotter, drier conditions, the threat of massive wildfires will only increase in the coming months. It is essential that we take action now to prevent further destruction. Conclusion asterisk. The natural disasters of 2024 have already been devastating, but the worst may be yet to come. As we enter the second half of the year, the threats of solar flares, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, and wildfires loom large. It is essential that we take action now to prepare for these potential catastrophes. We must invest in early warning systems, infrastructure improvements, and disaster preparedness to mitigate the impact of these disasters. The time to act is now.